hey, see me, bro. Did you want to know how we make these tiki torches or these smoke effects? Ah!
Yes, I do.
Then let's get started. The first thing you might do is use this one from the Essentials bundle, and that's pretty fabulous. Let's start by selecting the tiki torch and making a duplicate copy. So I've got one for myself. Why don't you go ahead and grab one for yourself? And then did you know that if you go to this arrow that's pointing downwards and open up the properties panel by pressing forward on your right thumbstick, you'll then see you have this projectile launcher properties panel. And you can adjust these settings to create a variety of effects. For instance, at the very bottom, you'll find projectile color, and we can remove all that red and give it this, ooh, flaming green, like a zombie town. Lots of cool possibilities with this, but it doesn't stop there. Like, look at these. They fountain upwards and they come back down, which is very reminiscent of the ones in Club 1. Shout out to Oculus 410! Ah! And the way we made these was by taking the arrow, pointing it upwards, and then under the properties, you'll notice that it actually has speed set to 2.5 and gravity set to 2. If I take that gravity and cut it in half, you'll notice it's going to go even higher because there's less gravity affecting it. And if I want it to go even higher than that, I can take the speed and go really crazy high. Oh, is it ever going to come back? We don't know. But go ahead and have fun with these. And now let's go ahead and make that script for ourselves. Wait a second. Is that waterfall using this exact same script? That's right, it is. If we go to the top here where it says rocket, we can change it to sphere, and you'll notice it's going to launch really tiny spheres. So we should increase the size of that. Over here under scale, we'll change that up to 1. And look at those giant bubbles. Oh my goodness, they're huge. Going back to 0.5, and then we'll change the trail length to 3 and add a little bit more cyan, 0.7. And now it's too big, so we need to slide this upwards. Go. Wonderful. And the last thing you might do is go to this delay and change it down to maybe like 0.7 so it fires more rapidly. And look at that, we got a little like water fountain now. And if we take this, we can even duplicate it, add it up here to our waterfall, and you can see it just adds a whole nother layer of water. Very, very cool. All right, so that's fun, but how can you do this yourself? Like, what if you don't have the Essentials bundle? If we look at the simple launcher script, you'll see it's actually quite simple. Look, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and I'm gonna show you exactly how we make this. So let's go ahead and close this. Heading to your gizmos tab, go ahead and pull out a script gizmo. You can call this whatever you'd like. I'm gonna call mine Laex Launcher, and when the world is started, do we need to do anything? I almost always delete this, but wait, I want this to be looping from the time the world starts. So yes, we do need when world is started because we want it to loop from world start. And so what we're going to do is go over to our events tab and bring over when event is received. We'll bring that over here to the left, click on the drop down and click new event, and we'll name this event loop. Now, how do we receive loop? Well, over here on our events, we can grab send event with delay. We'll go ahead and drag that into our loop section. From the drop down, you'll now find the event loop, which we'll select. We can set the delay. 1 is fine for now. And when world is started, we also want this event to loop. So we're going to grab this line, and by thumbsticking to the right, you can see I can duplicate it. And now when world is started, we send loop to self after 1 second. And then when loop is received, it continuously loops every second. But what if we want it to be a different time? For that, we go to our variables tab, click new variable. It'll be a number variable that we're going to call delay. And we'll go ahead and click confirm. And now we can drag this variable pill over and into the left slot, and we can actually duplicate it into both of these slots. And like that, we can now change this on the properties panel of our launcher. Fantastic. The last thing to remember is that this script is going to be attached and running on our projectile launcher. So from our actions tab, if we scroll down, you can find launch projectile. And there's a couple options here, like launch projectile at speed and setting projectile gravity. But for just today, we're going to use launch projectile. Go ahead and drag that over here to the left and into loop. And now it just launches the projectile every time this loop goes off. With that, we finished our script. And now we'll go back to our gizmos tab and pull out the projectile launcher, which is this arrow. And when you open up the properties panel, you'll see in the bottom right is the projectile launcher. From the drop down, we'll find our script and select it. And then, oh, okay, that's bad. We didn't set a default time. And so it's firing ridiculously fast. Apologies for the little flash there. But now you can see it fires every 1 second. And now it looks kind of of like lasers because it's going so fast. The last thing we need to do is back on our variables tab, we forgot to set a delay time. And we're going to go ahead and set this to 0.5 seconds. And this is just a pretty fast delay. That's twice per second this is going to fire, which is really fast. Right now we have our speed set to 20. Let's go set that to 50. I just want this to be really fast. Wow, look at that. It's like almost there and it's gone. And then we're going to go change player collisions to be no players. We're going to no object collisions. Static collisions will also be off. Now, as far as gravity is concerned, since these look like lasers and I kind of like that, let's leave it. Under scale though, we can change this to be even smaller, like 0.01. All right, look at that. Just a little laser going off there. The trail length will set to be 10, so we can see this really bright laser going off. Nice. Maybe even 20. Very cool. And then down here, we can adjust the color. I'm going to go ahead and make this a cyan by setting red to 0. And look at that. We got these really cool blue lasers. And we can even duplicate this a few times. Create this incredible effect. Wow, this could make some really awesome club lights. But come to think of it, weren't we making smoke and waterfalls? Let's go back to that. So if we select all of these projectile launchers and open up the groupings property panel, we can adjust all of them simultaneously. So if you'd made a change there and you liked what you'd done with the setup, you can actually adjust all of them simultaneously by coming over here, and let's say we want the speed to be slower, like 30. Double our scale up to 0.02. Very cool. Now to make it smoke, what we do is go from the drop down and select rocket, and when I let go of this, we should see a lot of smoke let go. Whew, look at all that smoke. Wow. So that might not be what you're looking for, but if it is, that's pretty neat. And I think this might be too frequent. Our frequency on this might be a little crazy. And so as it turns out, because we set 0.5 in here, we can adjust it in here and adjust it for all of them because this number is the default, and those are all currently set to default. So now every 1 second, it's launching them all off, which is just incredible. If you guys want to take this a step further with me, under our operators tab, scroll on down to your random numbers, and we have random number with decimals. We're going to go ahead and drag this over and replace our delay with this random number. I recommend creating a min delay and a max delay, but in our case, I'm just going to use some value inputs to demonstrate how this works. So we'll go ahead and type in a number here and a number there. We'll set this to be 2 and 5, and this should hopefully remove some of that lag we're seeing, but still create this really unique effect. So look at that. Oh, that is really cool. Every so often it looks like we get a burst, but for the most part, they're just kind of going wow, very nice. There you have it. These are some awesome effects. I encourage you to play around with these, have some fun, experiment, and we cannot wait to see what you'll make. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in Horizon. Bye!